Hi everyone, this is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe, and I am here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. So go ahead and put those questions in the comments right now so that I may answer your questions. So I'm going to formally introduce myself. I am U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe, and I help clients to get their green card and status in the United States by any legal means necessary. So if you have a question that you would like to ask that's immigration related, go ahead and put your questions in the comments right now so that I may answer your questions. So if you would like to get in touch with me, you can call 561-405-4889. If you want to learn more about me as an immigration attorney, learn about the law firm ST Law Office, you can go to the link in my bio. It will take you to the website where you will have all the information you need to schedule a consultation and get in touch with me to start talking about your particular issue and to provide you legal advice. Hi there, Believer Scrum. It's nice to see you. Thanks for saying hey. So go ahead, put your questions in the comments. Now, I just posted a video talking about how to apply for the green card. So it's who qualifies to apply for the green card while being in the United States, even though you may have overstayed your visa. How do you obtain a green card still and a work permit? And so one way to do this is if you have a U.S. citizen or green card, U.S. citizen, spouse, or a son or daughter who's 21 and up. I'm a student. How do I get a green card? So Original Miguel, if you are a student and you are looking at if employers are trying to recruit you, that may be one way, because if an employer is willing to invest in you as their employee for the long term, then they could possibly be willing to sponsor you, because that's one way for a student to jump from student visa to actually a green card. So that could be a start. Another way is if you have families. So if you have a U.S. citizen or a green card holder spouse, or if you have a parent, as long as you're unmarried, if you have a green card holder parent, or if you have a U.S. citizen or a parent, whether you're 21 and under 21 or you're over 21. Now, if you have a U.S. citizen parent and you're under 21, then that parent should file for you ASAP so you don't age out, and you will be able to stay in the United States and apply for the green card. So there are so many different ways. Original Miguel, and I am just giving you general information. If you want to get personal legal advice about how to jump from going from a student to green card, call the office, schedule a consultation. Broken Angel, good afternoon. How can my U.S. citizen boyfriend apply for a passport for our baby? So usually there are forms, and you would have to submit the supporting documentation proving that the baby is a U.S. citizen. Now, if your baby was born abroad, it's going to be a different process. They're going to have to verify that he's a U.S. citizen, and it's usually done through the embassy. If your baby was born, or if your baby lives abroad, that may be one way. You have to apply for the passport through the embassy. Or if you're here and the baby's here, then you could also do it here in the United States. If you would like legal advice about how to go about doing this, if it just depends on the circumstances. It depends on the circumstances of the birth. It depends on whether your U.S. citizen boyfriend has claimed paternity, whether he fits certain residency requirements in the United States to determine whether your baby is a citizen. If your baby was born in the United States, then your baby would be a citizen. But how to go about it really depends on where your baby is. So call, schedule a consultation. If I apply for a green card via LPR spouse before 2-year marriage, but got approved after 2 years, is green card 2 years or 10 years? It's supposed to be 10 years. So if it was approved and the date it was approved is after your 2-year anniversary, then it's going to be a 10-year. It should be. If they issued a 2-year green card, then that's a mistake, and what you have to do is resubmit the card and showing there was an error, and they'll usually reissue a 10-year green card. So you can make sure you do that so you don't avoid any issues in the future. Okay, I have a U.S. Green card spouse. So original Miguel, let me see. I forgot what your question was. So if you have a green card holder spouse, then right now, original Miguel, right now is a good time to apply if you're a student in the United States and you have a green card holder spouse, because right now the priority date is current. So what that means is that, and I highly suggest original Miguel, you get legal advice and get started on it ASAP. Because what's going on here now is that spouses of green card holders, if you're in the US, you have a valid current visa, you could possibly qualify for an adjustment of status. As long as you have a valid status that's going to continue on for the duration of the process, then you can adjust status in the United States, get a work permit while you're here, going through the process. And that process could be complete within 18 months to 24 months. So schedule a consultation, get started. I can't stress that enough, original Miguel, because the clock is ticking, and it's not very often that this happens for spouses of green card holders. It usually takes very long to wait for an immigrant visa number to become available, and now it is. So get on it and start with a consultation to make sure you qualify. How can I apply for an H-2B visa? So you'll need to first apply to an employer who can sponsor you on the H-2B. Is Jamaica Embassy open yet? So it is open, just it may not be open for certain visas. Go to the U.S. Embassy's website and see what their current news is on what they're doing. How do I apply for residents coming from Jamaica to work as a counselor in a school? So usually the school would have to be the sponsor. So if you apply to the school, the next thing they would have to do is be willing to submit your application for either a visa or permanent resident. Once I get EB3 EAD card, can anyone switch jobs? So Tanaji, one, I know we spoke about this before, get legal advice. Usually if you leave your sponsor, then you are now no longer entitled to get the green card through your sponsor, through your employer sponsor. So that EAD card would likely no longer be valid after you get the denial, because what they'll do is withdraw the application. So get legal advice. Original Miguel, you're welcome. I'm excited for you. So make sure you get legal advice, because everything I'm saying here is general information. Get legal advice, get on it. You can call 561-405-4889 to schedule a consultation with me. What if current status terminate and your I-485 is pending from 250 days? So if you are no longer in current status, Tanaji, and your spouse, you don't have a U.S. citizen spouse, you don't have you're not the immediate relative of a U.S. citizen, then you would not qualify for adjustment of status. You'd have to fall within an exception. So very important for you to know that. And also, Tanaji, if that other caveat there where if you left the employer. My friend has a green card interview this month, but is a problem for opening a joint account. So my friend has a green card interview this month, but so you're having a problem to open a joint account. I'm not sure why that may be. You'd have to check with the bank on their policies and figure that part out. But joint accounts are not the only pieces of evidence that you need to show that you have a valid marriage. It can be based on other evidence. So make sure you shore up the other evidence if you can't get that joint bank account. What if current status terminate and your I-485 is pending from 250 days? Okay, so I answered that one. Get legal advice, Tanaji. I applied for EAD since February, but I haven't heard anything since then. Please, what can I do? Unfortunately, EADs are taking 6 to 8 months, sometimes even 9 months. So hang tight and call, make sure that everything is okay on your end, that you have submitted all the documentation they need, and that the application was accepted. My B2 visa was canceled for working. What is the best advice you can give? So in this case, if there is now an immigration violation on your record, and that is going to spell problems for you in the future. So if it was canceled and you're outside of the United States, it's very unlikely that you'll be able to obtain a visa again. There are waivers available, but keep in mind those waivers to get back your B2 they're very discretionary, and it all depends on whether the officer believes that you'll commit the violation again, or other factors involved. So get legal advice. But unfortunately, once you get tagged for working without authorization, it does lead to severe consequences. It can lead to the loss of your visa, and then it's very difficult, of course, to get it back. And you can become inadmissible. So how can I apply for student visa coming as an international study from an African country? So first you have to apply to the school, Karen, a school who will accept you, and then they'll issue what's called an I-20. You go to the interview and you have to show how you're going to pay for school as well, and that your intention to come to the United States is temporary, and that's the basics of getting the student visa. I'm from Kenya, now I'm working in Dubai. How can I apply for a green card? So you'll have to qualify. You either qualify through an employer. So if your employer is a U.S. employer, there are employment-based visas that can lead to a green card. For example, the L1 visa can be a way for you. So if you're in a management position, you can still come to the United States as an employee of that company, and then eventually apply for the green card. My uncle has been married from 2007, and his wife has not done anything to expedite his filing. So if that uncle, if the reason she is not, I don't know what the situation is. Is she a U.S. citizen? Sounds like he may be out of status. Why is she not pushing his paperwork forward? That's the question. Schedule a consultation and let's talk about it to determine whether there's some kind of mistreatment going on, there's some sort of abuse by the wife. What is the wife's immigration status? What's the situation? Because there are ways for him, your uncle, to possibly apply on his own if it's related to his wife's mistreatment. Is she holding back on filing for his papers because she wants to control him? That's a form of abuse. So call 561-405-4889 or go ahead and let your uncle know so he can contact. I have a case going on and it says refusal. Could you explain a little more for me and that? I'm not sure, Les Ford, why that would be a refusal, and definitely would warrant a legal advice here. I would have to advise you in a personal consultation. Call 561-405-4889. Schedule that consult. Can I adjust my daughter's status? I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm a citizen. She is 27 years old. So unfortunately, if she's out of status, air-conditioned lady, it's unlikely she'll qualify for adjustment of status. You would be able to apply for her, but what would happen is a waiver would be involved. She'd have to apply for waiver. Waiver is basically allowing for forgiveness for the overstay or coming in without permission, and then she could go to her home country when the interview is scheduled and attend it. She can wait in the United States for a decision on the waiver. The waiver would be based on your extreme hardships if she doesn't get the green card. So air-conditioned lady, if this is something you really want to do for your daughter, I suggest you explore those options. Call 561-405-4889. Schedule that consult. Who is considered a direct relative other than wife, husband, kids? So immediate relatives of U.S. citizens are going to be the spouse of a U.S. citizen, the parent of a U.S. citizen who's 21 and up, or the son or daughter of who is a U.S. citizen under 21. Also, there are other situations, those that take priority, meaning they're the fastest way to obtain the green card. If you are the spouse or the son or daughter of a green card holder, right now, unmarried children under 21 and spouses of green card holders is taking just as fast as U.S. citizens. That's not going to last long though. So if you're in this situation, get on it right now. Schedule a consultation and let's see if you qualify. Now, if you are the sibling of a U.S. citizen, that's another way. Keep in mind those processes, though, that takes a minimum of 14 years for those in the Caribbean. If you are the son or daughter over 21 of a U.S. citizen or green card holder, those are taking years. So keep that in mind. My spouse pronounced my African name. Will that be a problem? So Believer Scrum, I'm not sure what, if you're asking me about how to put it on the application. Now, is she can't pronounce your African name. So, going into the interview, is very important that you know each other. If she can't pronounce your name, then you need to explain that she knows your name. It's just very difficult. Maybe talk about the nicknames that you call each other at the interview. You could also have her practice. Because if you can pronounce your name, I'm pretty sure anybody else can. So make her practice, and then if it's still not working out, she really has a hard time, then talk about the nicknames. Talk about the fact, laugh about it if necessary, about the fact that she can't pronounce your name. Minka, thanks for sharing the live. Is there a backlog in biometrics? Because I get a letter say I should wait on available slots. So there is a backlog, yes. My sis-in-law got her EAD in 6 months. So yes, so it is taking 6 to 8 months. So definitely, Minka, you're right. A minimum of 6 months. As actually, I would count anybody who got their work permit in 6 months very lucky. Yes, she's a citizen. Repeat the number. So Wayne, the number is 561-405-4889. If you missed the number, you can also go to the link in my bio where it's going to take you to the website. When you get to the website, you can go ahead and look for the number. You can also complete a contact form. Sometimes the phone lines get busy, and in that case, you can fill out the contact form and a scheduling coordinator will get back to you on our next business day, which will be tomorrow. Wayne, I'm so glad that I can be of help. That's exactly why I'm here. I'm here every day. I can't remember our history, how me and my spouse started before we married. Will that affect us? It could. So Believer Scrum, now is the time to sit down, touch base with your wife and talk about, reminisce about how you met. I understand that sometimes you don't remember those details. Talk to your wife. Make sure you prepare for that. Because they will ask, and if you don't, it can definitely cause further issues for you. My stepmom lives in Canada. My dad seems not interested in living overseas, but my stepmom is on. So that got cut off. Wayne, thanks for responding. The questions are for my brother. He's filing for his wife. Okay, great. Shifa Kelly, hi there. It's nice to see you. So she's on disability and they have been married since 1994, but she visits there anyway for me. So if she lives in Canada, I'm not a Canadian immigration attorney. I'm a U.S. immigration attorney. So I don't advise on Canada. Karen, thanks for sharing the live. I appreciate that. I got a letter for my medical wage. I don't know if that's a medical exam. So do I need a counsel to apply for a waiver? So having a lawyer is not absolutely required, but you never catch me saying you don't need a lawyer. A waiver, it takes a lot of legal know-how, strategy, and coordination with an attorney to get it right. If you don't submit the type of evidence that they're going to need to make a decision as to whether you should be granted the waiver. It could be denied. Or you could get a very nasty request for evidence, which is going to probably be confusing for someone who who's not a lawyer. So highly recommend a lawyer for a waiver. I highly recommend it, because it's not just to complete a form. A lot of people think that immigration law is just completing forms, and that's where they go wrong. That's where they go wrong. So when you apply, you fill out a form because you think that's what immigration law is, and submit it. It gets denied. You get a request for evidence. Then you get confused. Then the situation gets more complicated. And then you're spending more money to fix it by paying a lawyer. The best thing to do is to contact a lawyer. And what I do, so with my clients, I require a consultation for everyone I meet with. That way they can interview me. I interview them. I advise them based on the information I provide them. And then once I either advise them whether they qualify, if they qualify, whether they need more, if they need representation, whether I highly recommend it. And from there, you can make a highly informed decision. You can walk out knowing what you're prepared to do, whether you can do this on your own based on the information that the attorney has given you. So highly recommend it. Overstayed my visa and found a job. Can you help? I'm a German citizen. So if you overstayed your visitor's visa, you found a job, is your employer willing to sponsor you? If your employer is willing to sponsor you, then definitely I would have to consult with the employer to determine whether you qualify, because from then on it depends on your qualifications. What are the needs of the employer? What are the needs compared to the needs of the U.S.? Whether this can be a possibility. Also, whether you have family who you can apply through or other means. So do you have a humanitarian basis to apply? So there are options. The first thing we'd have to do is schedule a consultation. I got a letter for my medical. Should I wait and bring it to the interview? You'll definitely need to bring your medical to the interview unless that letter instructs you otherwise. For my clients, I usually let them do it at the point that right before the interview is scheduled. I have a question. I had a domestic violence case with my husband due to marital disagreement. We already applied for is it possible to still get the visa? Absolutely. Kimberly, Charlene, too. This is what I focus on in my practice. It's one of the areas I focus on, because if you are facing a domestic violence issue with your spouse and that spouse filed an I-130, you can still go ahead and file your own green card and still continue with the green card process. So you can apply for your own green card, get a work permit for your own self, but it depends on the full facts involved, and you'd have to schedule a consultation for that. Call 561-405-4889. Call, schedule a consultation, and let's see if you qualify. It's a good way to go, especially if you feel like that spouse is going to sabotage your green card process, which I have seen multiple times. How soon can I travel outside of the U.S.? Okay, so I am the wife applying for him. So if you are the wife and you have faced domestic violence issues, then it is definitely within your right to cancel the green card for the spouse. So while I don't advise, I am not the lawyer. I advocate for immigrants. I help immigrants to find a way. If you are being abused, then you have every right to cancel that green card application. So keep that in mind, Kimberly. But I'm not an attorney that, okay, so you don't want to. Okay, so Kimberly, I understand. So you're saying that it's on the record. So it is on the record that your spouse committed domestic violence against you. So that is going to be a complex issue, right? Because your spouse committed domestic violence against you, but you want to reconcile with that spouse. Now, it is within your right. I cannot advise you. This is domestic violence, and If your spouse is being abusive. Okay, Kimberly, so you committed it against him. Okay, I see now. So definitely, it is an issue between you and him. When you go to the interview, for example, so you still can go forward with the interview. It all depends on what's going on between the both of you. How he feels, how you feel, but you as a petitioner, it is within your right to withdraw. It is within your right to move forward. It is also within his right to leave and apply for it on his own. So he has different options here, so do you. So it really is dependent on how the both of you would like to move forward, whether you've gotten counseling, whether you have fixed this situation. But in a complicated situation like this, definitely there's going to, I wouldn't be able to advise you personally. It's a general, the information here I'm giving you is general. If you do or your spouse has issues, then you both would have to find legal counsel to advise you through that. So keep those questions coming. Crump Pet Strong, thanks for the follow. Can a green card holder adjust your status after marriage when you are overstay on your B1, B2? You would not qualify to adjust status. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. You would not qualify to adjust status in the United States. But there is a waiver process that you could go through to fix the situation. So keep those questions coming because I'm here to answer your immigration related questions. So scroll up. So Jamaican broker, can you retype the question because I'm trying to keep going in one direction. So I can get everybody's question. I didn't see your question before. So Coco Melon, cute name. And you're welcome. So, with the waiver, it's a complicated process. Coco Melon, it's going to involve a waiver to fix your status. And so you have to get legal advice first. You can call 561-405-4889 to schedule. How do mother-to-child sponsorship take? It can take, so if the mother is a U.S. citizen filing for a child under 21 and unmarried, it could take about 18 months. If it's a U.S. citizen for an over 21 years old child and unmarried, 6 to 7 years. Green card holder, unmarried child, 21 and over, 6 to 7 years. Under 21 and unmarried, it could take up to 2 years. So a married child is taking up to 12 years. Oh, so Bantel Sheik. Okay, so you are about to call. Great. You can go ahead and put your question here. Keep in mind that the answers to your questions is general information. It can be definitely helpful. If you want personal legal advice, schedule a consultation. So Wayne, if my stepmom is a resident of Canada and my dad is not interested, I'm not a Canadian immigration attorney. You'll have to ask a Canadian immigration attorney. How long would it take after getting married to a U.S. citizen? So right now the process could take anywhere from 18 months to 24 months. It could take less. For example, you could have an interview at the 9-month mark, but keep in mind that you want to go into that interview prepared, because if the officer is not sold on your marriage, that can delay your green card process tremendously. Over 24 months, over a year. So make sure that your evidence is good. Make sure you've prepared your application sufficient. Tremendously. Over 24 months, over a year. So make sure that your evidence is good. Make sure you've prepared your application sufficiently. To my brother, when should we apply the next paperwork? So after approving I-130 through my mom to my brother, when should we apply the next paperwork? It depends. 2010, it depends on what is your age, what's your marital status, what's your mom's age. It's because the time, it's not going to take some takes, you know, a little over a year, some takes years, so it depends. So I'm a U.S. citizen. I married overseas. I brought my husband to America as soon as he arrived. He switched up now. We're getting a divorce. He was using me to get here. Do you think I can deport him? Bantal, I'm not the one to ask. I am not the one to advise on how to deport immigrants. There comes a point where I have to take a stand, and I am the advocate for immigrants. Now, what I do suggest is you can, you can contact your own counsel. You can talk to a family law attorney, but I don't advise on how to deport people. I stop deportations. I help people to stop from being deported. So I'm not the one. Hey, asking for my friend, can she apply for U.S. citizenship without a spouse or no U.S. family members? It depends. Simply depends on what her circumstances are. In this case, if she's outside of the United States, there is and keep in mind, she will need to be a green card holder before she can apply for citizenship. And now if she applies for now with U.S. citizenship, as long as she has her green card for at least 5 years, she can apply for U.S. citizenship. If she wants to apply for a green card, she's gonna have to qualify through an employer, through a family member, qualifying family member, or through humanitarian means, or the diversity lottery if she has no links. I got married to a citizen, do the change of status and file for green card. So I'm married to a citizen, do the change of status and file for green card. How soon can I travel outside of the U.S.? So if you have a travel document, you get your travel document, then you should be able to make short trips outside of the U.S. Now, I can't give you personal advice about whether you can travel. It depends on the complexity of your case, the facts involved, what's going on in your case. But a travel document, having a travel document usually helps in that respect. It helps you to travel and come back to the U.S. Mom is permanent resident, age 55, brother is 28 and unmarried. Right now, that's taking 5 to 6 years. After getting married, can I file for my kids, ages 21, 28, and 30, and how long? As a green card holder, you can file for them, but keep in mind the process is taking 5 to 6 years, and they must be unmarried to qualify through you as the green card holder. Now, after getting married, Maxine, no, you must be a green card holder or a U.S. citizen to be able to file. Maxine Williams, hi there. So keep those questions coming, because I am here to answer your U.S. immigration questions. So go ahead and put your questions in the comments so that I may answer them. Why not take advantage of me being here? So Tashmani, 6 years or more. So I see. Is there a way to get a green card without getting married? There are ways, but it all depends on how you qualify. So Obese, thanks for the compliment. So you can qualify through an employer, other family members, not just a spouse, or if you enter the diversity lottery, Tony Ann, that could probably be a way as well. Is there a certain price to pay? If so, what is the average cost? So there is a price. I don't know if you're talking about the consultation, Simply Me. My consultation is $150 for up to an hour. And in that time, you walk out knowing whether you qualify, how you can apply, what you should be doing, whether you need an attorney to further represent you. Can my grandma file for an adult grandkids? No, unfortunately not. Grandparents can't file, cousins can't file, friends can't file. So how do I qualify through an employer? So first you'll have to apply to a foreign employer, and then that foreign employer is going to have to be willing to apply for your green card or your visa to be able to come. So Kobiz, hi there, it's nice to see you. Sky Blue Doll, how long is biometrics up after receiving acceptance notice for sibling petition? So Sky Blue Doll, usually if you have a sibling and you're out of status, that's complex, right? Because usually siblings, the process for a sibling, a U.S. citizen to file for a sibling is at minimum 14 years. And it's going to usually be through consular processing. If you're in the United States and you're doing what's called an adjustment of status application, then you're out of status, you would not qualify for adjustment of status and you will get denied. So while biometrics appointments, right now it's taking 4 months. Keep in mind, an average of 4 months, keep in mind that you have to be very careful with what's going on here, because you have to maintain legal status in the United States for the entire 14 years that this petition is going to take. And if you fall out of status during the adjustment of status process, then you don't qualify for it and you'll be denied, and then you'll be stuck in the US. You'll have to apply for a waiver, but that waiver, you'll have to have a US citizen or green card holder spouse or parent. So very important. Can a mother file for grandkids whose mom just died? So not directly. Maxine, that gets a lot more complex because it may involve adoption, and adoption in itself is a complex process. So call, schedule a consult. My wife in US on a trip visa, she's pregnant, due November 30th. What is the easy way to make her legal? So there's usually just being pregnant is not going to get her legal in the US. No. Skeeter 23, she's going to have to qualify through a family, through an employer, through humanitarian means, and that means applying for asylum, a T or U visa as a victim of crime or trafficking, or the diversity lottery, but she must have her legal status in the US at the time that she goes through the process for the diversity lottery. Skeeter 23, thanks for the follow. Brian Molenga, thanks for the follow. Can a student who wants to study in a US college apply for a visa? Absolutely. You'll have to qualify and show that you qualify. Hello, so happy we received our biometrics extension appointment for my stepson in August, but his son Grace Love, but his visa is up in July. Yep, I figure they have to be a US citizen to petition. So Sky Blue Doll, yes, your sibling has to be a US citizen to petition, but that's still not going to allow you to adjust status in the United States if you can't maintain legal status. Highly recommend that you get legal advice, because if you're applying for adjustment of status based on a sibling petition, there may be an issue with this, and you want to check to make sure you're covered, you're protected going into this process. Do I need to do biometrics before getting an EAD? Usually you do, unless they have it on file and they have sent you notice that they're going to reuse your biometrics, then you will need to do one. So Son Grace Love, if the sponsor of your stepson is a US citizen and in order you said stepson, so if you're a US citizen, you got married to the biological parent before that parent turned 18, then they could qualify, and they're under 21, they could qualify as an immediate relative of a US citizen, and that means that they could still be able to apply for the green card while being in the US. So Son Grace Love, go ahead. I highly recommend you schedule a consultation to make sure you're on the right track, that no mistakes are being made, and that you're doing everything correctly. Natalia Fisher, thanks for the follow. Apples 195, thanks for the follow. So while I'm here, just keep those questions coming. Because I am here to answer your U.S. immigration related questions. That's why I'm here, and I'm here on a Sunday. So can my stepson apply for AOS if we are waiting for I-130? Father is legal permanent resident. So no, Son Grace Love, this is a point where you need legal advice, because if the father is a legal permanent resident and Son Grace Love, if you didn't receive a call back, and if you called over the weekend, keep in mind that if you called over the weekend, right now there may not be a scheduling coordinator who's available to return your call. On business days, Monday to Friday, between 9:30 and 11 p.m. are the best times. And also what you can do is go to the link in my bio right now and go to the website. There's a contact form there. And you can complete that contact form. It goes directly to a scheduling coordinator who will definitely call you back on the next business day. So you can go ahead and try that. But I highly advise you get legal advice at this point. Because if the father's a legal permanent resident and he's the one that's applying, then there may be an issue going on there. It's going to get more complicated. I'd love to go to the U.S. sometime. Will that be possible? It depends on if you qualify COBIS DC. If you would like to evaluate your options, you're always free to schedule a consultation. So thank you all for your questions. I am here every day. So if you have an immigration related question that you would like to ask, go ahead. You can put it in the comments right now. Or you can follow me, and as soon as I go live, you can hop on and ask questions. I apply I-130 online from Colorado, but they send me my application to California. Kahin Haroon, that's completely normal. So the applications are not going to be filed in your state. They're going to be processed at different service centers around the country. Hi, attorney. I submitted all required documents to my lawyer for my AOS, still not filed. Is there an issue? Touch base with your attorney. Your attorney could just be very busy. Your attorney could be waiting for you to submit additional documents. Your attorney is going to be the person that you need to speak to. Can my sister, who is a U.S. citizen, take guardianship of my son in Bahamian? So while they can take guardianship, there is a special way. So if they do take guardianship, there are ways for them to apply for the green card as minors if they're under 21. But this is a process you definitely have to get legal advice, because you have to go through the court, and the court has to certify them as a special type of juvenile that is in need of a guardian. And then from there, they can apply for the green card. But you need legal advice for that. So call, schedule a consultation, and then we can talk about that. So Mishka, I'm in Boca Raton, Florida, but keep in mind, as a U.S. immigration attorney, I represent clients all over the country, not limited by borders, state lines, and I also represent clients all over the world. So schedule a consultation and let's talk about your particular issue. No matter where you are in the U.S., I can help you, because this is a federal practice. You have to file your green card applications all over the country, and I work with USCIS offices all over the country, immigration courts all over the country, embassies all over the world. So I'm not limited here. Gina Morris, you're welcome, and thanks for the follow. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Now keep in mind that it's a Sunday, so you may not get a call back today from a scheduling coordinator, but you will get on the next business day. However, my phone lines are open 24/7, so there's someone, an after hours receptionist, who will always answer your call, take your information, and then the scheduling coordinator will get back in touch with you. Hi, mom. Hi, ma'am. If I have prima facie, what's the next step? Then you, at this point, is basically just saying that they have preliminarily reviewed your application, and so far you look like you qualify. And you just have to wait. So it's continue to wait for the main decision. Prima facie can be used in your state for certain benefits if you need it. So you can call your state's welfare office to determine whether you qualify for certain benefits if you need it. So Miss Magnificent, yes, there is a fee of $150 For that you get advice for up to 1 hour, where I talk about your issue. I advise you as to whether you qualify, so you walk out with this value, knowing whether you qualify, what your options are, what you need to do, whether you need further legal representation, whether you're making a mistake that you need to correct. So it's very important. This consultation is very important. I require all my clients to do it first before representing them. Once he applies for his U.S. citizenship and is successful, can adjust status. So Coco Melon depends on the child's age. If they're under 21 and unmarried, then they would qualify now as the immediate relative of a U.S. citizen and would be able to adjust status. My receipt notices and my lawyer give me the runaround. So Elegant 213, I'm sorry to hear that your lawyer is giving you the runaround. I don't know what the situation is, and the best thing to do is to just try to get your lawyer should have an obligation to communicate with you. And so sit down and have a conversation. Schedule an appointment with your attorney to make sure you're both on the same page. Hi, if married to a green card holder, how long will it take for his spouse to get to the USA? About 2 years. It could take less, could take more. Prepare for a 2-year process. Miss Magnificent, thanks for the follow. I think that's Ganga. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. So these were all great questions. Thank you so much for your questions. I am going to head out for the day, but it's always nice touching base with you. I'm here every day. So if you you have a U.S. immigration related question, go ahead and put your questions in the comments right now so that I may answer your questions when I hop on. So you can also go to the link in my bio. It's going to take you to the website where you can complete a contact form for a scheduling coordinator to get back to you. You can call the number. If it's after hours, you can leave your name, your number, and a scheduling coordinator will get back to you the next business day. So have a good Sunday, and I will speak with you all tomorrow. Have a good Sunday, everyone. Bye-bye.